Welcome to the Master Your Millions podcast, the show all about your financial potential and leaving a legacy for future generations. Here are your hosts, Jason and Scott Henderson.
Today we have Parthiv Shah. Parthiv is originally from India, and he is a business growth strategist and predictive economist. Parthiv and his team provide highly effective systems and methods that increase your revenue, save you time, and improve your profitability. In fact, Parthiv was awarded a United States patent for his system and method for developing a business growth strategy in November of 2022. Parthiv has written 12 books and is a doctoral student studying how growth strategies fail. Welcome to the podcast, Parthiv.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, guys.
We're excited to have you. Tell us a little bit about just a little brief history on how, early childhood and what and how you came to the United States, what brought you to the United States?
Sure. So childhood was pretty uneventful. Parents, government employees, they worked for Department of Irrigation. Mom worked for Department of Agriculture. My dad was a mechanical engineer. Back in the day, there was an acute shortage of engineers in America. My dad got a professional visa to come here. He came here in 1989. He came here in 1984. I was in Indian Air Force. At that time, from high school, I went to the Air Force Academy. I was in Indian Air Force. I did not want to come to America, but I wanted to be a fighter pilot. And about 1 million kids, very competitive exam. About 1 million kids take the exam, and they take 164 kids into the academy. And top 64 goes to fighter, because back then, that's how many students that you can to the fighter branch. And then if you're a fighter pilot, if you are a gold medalist when you graduate from the top of your class, and if all goes well, you have a shot at Indian space program and you can be an astronaut. So I had a dream to be an academy topper, best in Air Force fighter pilot in Indian Air Force, and be an astronaut. So that's what heart desired. But there ought to be an alignment between your heart, your head, and your ass. And so let's work on the head. I was third in all India merit list, so I think I got the brains for it too. But I'm 1 centimeter too short to be a pilot. So talk about a dream-crushing event. I have never been more disappointed in my fate. And I have had many failures, but that was the most spectacular failure. I applied for an honorable discharge, came to America, went to Bentley College in 1999. I came here in 1989. My parents are here, so getting a visa was relatively easy. I came here, and I had 3 dreams when I came to America, and I had them written down. I want to have an MBA in marketing. I want to be a marketing consultant. And I want to practice in prepackaged software industry. America is like a very good movie. Good people win here. And dreams actually come true. Now, not every dream comes true, but everything that is real was a dream someday. So if you can dream big, dream vividly with excruciating detail, and actually work towards building a bridge between your dream and reality, the whole universe kind of works for you. So that's how I came to America. My first real American job was doing telemarketing for a women's-only health club. I became a marketing director, telemarketer, at a direct marketing company. And I grew into the same company from 1989 to 2002, worked for the direct mail company as a director of new business development. But all I did is prospect, pitch, close, and collect, and then hand over the deal to a salesperson. And then I started my own business called List Launchers in 2002. It grew to a point where I was happy with it. I had a client in India who wanted to hire me, so they hired me as an agency. They offered to buy me out. I got bought out. That's how I moved to Maryland. They bought 6 other companies. They didn't have any money to pay any of us. Everything disintegrated. I had to start from scratch. The current brand, elaunches.com, was born in 2006. And from 2006 to 2022, I lived in elaunches.com brand. In 2022, after I got my patent, I went to multi-brands. I own dental, I own a dental growth machine, which is, and sell more implants, which is e-launches for dentistry. My patent is a growth strategy system. It's a system and method for developing a business growth strategy that is less likely to fail. So that is becoming a SaaS. And I have my little library with 1,000 square feet and 2,500 books. So that is my whole life.
That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about the patents, because that's not normal as in a marketing company or even developing business systems. Typically, patents are typically handed out for products and other things. So tell us a little bit about that and that process, and what is it?
Okay, so you cannot patent a mathematical equation. You cannot patent an idea. You cannot patent a concept. You cannot patent a theory. You cannot patent a process. What I have is a system and a method that creates a business growth strategy that is based on data and data manipulation. And I look at historic data I look at the revenues of your last 90 days, 1 year, 3 year, last million, last 5 million. I look at who buys, who doesn't buy, what is your lifetime value, what is your RFM, who stays, who ascends, and based on that, I build a predictive model that clones your existing customers and your best customers and builds a prospect universe. So the next generation of customers will come in, will look like your ideal customer. Only 6 patents have ever been awarded on the subject of business growth strategy, ever in the United States. And mine is the first patent in this genre since the law changed in 2012. So, I think my system and method is incredibly unique. I was incredibly lucky to have it documented and presented to US Patent Office, and I'm grateful to have a damn good lawyer who presented and defended the theory that this is not only this is unique, not only this is useful, but it's not just a concept and nothing beyond that. It is actually a thing. So there is some artificial intelligence component to it, etc. But the system essentially has 5 steps. You start with a 1-page business plan to figure out who you are, where you want to go, and how you will get there. Right? This is all about you. Then I have a thing called growth grader, which is there are 6 levers you can pull and push to grow. Third is a canvas for why people buy. So who buys, what they buy, why they buy, what goes on in their life. Then the list research and development, RFM strategy. You can read up more about it on Brian Kurt's book. A strategy summary, and you end with a SWOT analysis. And the way I use the SWOT to arrive at the decision point of how a business can grow, where winning will not be insignificant, losing is not going to be embarrassing, and probability of losing is drastically reduced. And then substantiate that with not only your data, but also industry data. So that's what my patent is all about. Now, my doctoral study, I am studying how a business growth strategy fails. So I want to take this framework, 2,000 or 2,000 companies, and say, hey, give me a business failure and let me see why and how you failed, and build a database of things that can go wrong. And that would be my contribution to the society.
I see. So staying on that subject, give me the top 3 reasons that you found doing and studying that on why someone fails.
Success is a gift of God. Failure is your doing. And unless you have fail prevention in place, you cannot get success. See, what's the difference between a physician and a gym trainer or a physical therapist? A gym trainer will improve quality of life. Physical therapist will increase your range of motion.
Okay.
A physician prevents death. And unless death is prevented, improving quality of life is moot. See, there is a book called Into Thin Air. Have you heard of that book? Into Thin Air. There's a book and a movie.
I don't think so.
Excellent. It talks about Everest. The movie is awesome. Movie is better than the book. I have the book and the movie. I did it. So I'll give you 1-minute version of it. So a gang goes to Everest base camp, and then there is this guy who is going to lead them up to the summit. And he says, "Why are you here?" And everyone says, "We are here to do summit." And he says, Why do you think I am here? Take us to summit. And he says, I have a bigger goal. I want you guys to go home alive. Right? He talks about death prevention. And he says, I have one rule. At 2 p.m., it doesn't matter where you are on the mountain, you're going to turn around and begin walking towards the camp below. Because if you are not inside a tent with oxygen and nourishment before sunset, you will die on mountain. There is no exception. Nobody ever lived who was outside the tent at sunset. If it's dark outside and you're not in the tent, you die tonight. So don't do that, please. I want all of you to live. I want all of you to go home. And then, for this reason or that reason, everyone who chooses to keep climbing beyond 2 p.m. actually die. That's what the movie is about. In business growth, we are so, success is addictive. When you're counting money, that it's like, you have a stash of cash and you're counting, knowing it's my money. There is so success is addictive. You don't know that you're going so high that you're going to run out of gas, you're free fall and crash. So failure prevention matters more than pursuit of success. So number one reason why someone fails is because they bite more than they chew. Number one. Second reason I found interesting for failure, and we are generic, we are making very generic comments, right? You're trying to take a BMW on the runway, go really fast, it ain't going to fly. You need to, in order for you to take off, you need to have an airworthy machine, and it ought to go fast enough. You need to have velocity and aerodynamics to take off. So you might be in business, but if business is not in you, you will fail. I mean, I or everyone combined cannot put in what God left out. You, Scott, should not start a business. You should get a job. You're a great employee material, but God forbid, please, don't start a business. I'm not saying that to you personally. I'm like, this is
Sure.
a reason why you would fail, right? You have a zebra raising a monkey. It's not going to work. And third, is this mother healthy enough to bear this child? It might be a great business idea. You might be a great entrepreneur, but you don't have mental bandwidth. You don't have peace, and you don't have current economics to actually make this a success. Meaning, if this business was born to you when you were $500,000 wealthier, 5 years younger, and didn't have the issues with your wife, and your kids were not mad at you, this business would have taken off. Because your personal problems will affect the growth of your business. In small business, actually in every business, everybody's personal problems will affect the growth of your business. Because you see, peace is absolutely necessity for pursuit of prosperity. And in order for me to be at peace, I got to be at peace with my body, at peace with my wife, at peace with my son, at peace with my parents, my brother, my siblings, my staff, my clients, their staff, my prospects, their staff, government of America, my checkbook, my personal checkbook, my business checkbook, my personal savings account, my business savings account, my investment account. I need to have cash reserves. I need to have cash flow to be breathing normally. You know, the rest of my body is perfect, but I have a little pain right here. The focus of my whole household is on my neck. So these are the reasons why businesses fail. They don't fail because God wants you to fail. But there are predictable reasons why a business fails. So when I look at a business that I know will fail and I will not prevent that fall, I tell them focus on failure.
Okay, that's awesome. So I want to go off of this last point. You mentioned something that a business needs to be able to breathe is they need to have cash reserves and cash flow. And there isn't much information out there. What would you say is appropriate for, say, cash reserves? And I'm sure that it's industry specific, but if you had to go on a rule of thumb,
there is no rule of thumb because everyone has a different thumb size. So I'll answer for me.
Okay, that works great.
So I became private client with Dan Kennedy in 2017. And me and Deepa went to Cleveland for a day of consulting. And I said, and I said, I'm not afraid to start over. Everything can be taken away from me, and I know I will bounce back and rebuild because I can make $100,000 for any business. definitely make it for me. And what Kennedy said is, that's terrible. You shouldn't have to start over. You need to make large cash withdrawal from the business and hoard cash that is accessible to you, because a long, harsh winter is coming where you will not be dead, but you won't be living either. You will have to live for an extended period of time where you will not have cash flow incoming, but you will be forced to keep paying your bills, business and personal. And when that day comes, one of the first things that will be taken away from you is your capacity to borrow. So start extracting cash. And if that happens at the cost of the speed of growth, so be it. Take cash and store cash. That was 2017. And then 2020, COVID happened and I was ready. I get a monthly paycheck, right? People pay me either $2,500, $5,000 or $8,000 a month with a $12,000 upfront to do my this, that, and other. So I'm an MRR guy. I'm not large project milestone guy. I'm a monthly recurring revenue guy. 89% of my revenue disappeared in 2.5 days in April of 2020. So I gathered my king and said, so this happened. We are out of money. We won't get next month what we got this month. Nobody's getting laid off, nobody's getting fired, nobody's getting their hours cut, nobody's getting their hourly rate cut, and no vendors getting paid late. Hide behind me, the only people I'm taking off payroll are me and Deepa, because no sense paying taxes when we are living off of savings. But you guys are all getting paid. I'm going to hustle and generate new business so we all can eat. And if I run out of money, so none of us can eat, we are in a very different America. If anybody can survive and thrive in America, I can't. I'm a battle-hardened soldier. I am 100% confident in my ability to recover the revenues lost to COVID economics. I stopped losing money in August. My out-of-pocket nut back then was $68,000. I stopped losing money in August. I posted a small profit. Here, revenue went down about 30-40%, but still. And government help with PPP loan and crap like that, that pays 1 month Amex. That wasn't much. I mean, that's just a little. It's not a sandwich; it's a ketchup. Nobody lived off of government money to turn around from COVID economics. So you have to hustle and rebuild your business. So the rule of thumb for how much cash reserve you need is how long can you hold your breath before you recover and generate cash flow to be solvent again. Is it a month, 3 months, 6 months? If your monthly nut is $68,000, how many months will it take to go from $0 to $68,000? And you need 68,000 times that much in liquid cash reserves that you can access without liquidating anything, because we don't know what market looks like. I would have been dead if I had money in crypto. And without borrowing, because bank wouldn't have lent me money. So you need to know how to start.
So what was the multiplication of that number? I missed that, sorry.
Take your monthly nut, I call it COB, right? So the formula I have is COH, contribution to overhead. So cash flow rule is COH must be greater than or equal to COB over time T. Meaning for a day, week, month, quarter, year, contribution to overhead from cash flow after paying CAC and cost of goods must be equal or higher than cost of breathing. So what is your cost of breathing? Cost of breathing is net cash outlay at zero revenue. How much money will leave no matter how much revenue you have? At zero revenue, how much cost you are going to incur just to keep the doors open? Multiply that number. Everyone has the COB. In March 2020, mine was 68,000 at that time. Times how many months will it take to replace 68,000 if you crash from where you are to zero?
So you have to have some pretty good. So you have to have some pretty good confidence in yourself, or at least some sort of feel what it would take you to replace that monthly number, right? You feel 100% confident that you could go from 0 to 68 in 3 months, then you only need 3 times 68,000, right, in reserves.
You know,
you feel like it take you 6 months to do it, then you need 6 times 68. Am I understanding that correctly?
mathematically it makes sense, but in reality, when chips are down, the confidence shakes. Family that lives off of, look, I'm fortunate to have the family I have. I've been dead broke 3 times, in bankruptcy once, had over 6-figure debt once, and I had unconditional 100% support of Deepa during the economic downturn. See, I'm the heart of business. I'm the face of the business. She's the soul of the company. She's the spine of the company. Not everyone has that kind of family support. When you are running out of money, and when you are racking up debt, and when you're losing money, if you don't have good support from the family, you don't have an ability to fight back. How do you get out of a negative cash flow situation? You go to spend your way out. What is the first thing I did when all my revenues were wiped out? I tripled my marketing spend. I tripled my marketing spend. That takes courage. And that takes a good wife. And that takes a healthy relationship with your money. How many people will be allowed to 3x their spend at zero revenue and not have a flying saucer in the kitchen? You see, you need to have a healthy relationship with your money. So there is no golden rule. The golden rule is you got to have a framework and formula to grow your business in any economy. You cannot predict economy, and you cannot fix economy. You don't have control over economy. The only thing you have control over is your economics. What's your CAC, cost of acquiring a customer? What's your LTV, lifetime value of a customer? And what is the multiple of CAC to LTV, and can you maintain it in any economic conditions? This is math, not art. This is math, not English. And entrepreneurship is like a fighter plane. It is not a commercial plane. You get shot at. Somebody wants you dead so they can have your customer. So think like a fighter pilot. You got to know where your sky is, because that's where you work. You got to know where your runway is. Because that's where you got to come back to, no matter how high you go. And third, you got to know who your enemies are because somebody wants you dead. And you got to take them out before they take you out. You need to defense before offense. So I don't have a number for you, but I have a framework to think in.
No, I like that. That's really good. And I want to ask you for a second. You at one time you were focused on dentists. What has caused you to sort of broaden your horizon and speak to other business owners, right? Why dentists and then broaden it?
Sure. So I was not always a dental guy. I got hired by a dentist, an orthodontist, in 2011. He hired me to build a marketing automation system. Then he brought me to his coach. So that was Dr. Dustin Borgeson. He said, Parthiv, how much would you charge me to go to Charles Martin, where we will present our grand idea to the mastermind and get feedback from them? I'm like, are you kidding me? No, I'll go for free. Thank you. And then Martin hired me, and other people in mastermind hired me. So that's how I got into dentistry.
Okay.
So I did a lot in dentistry. And then a radiologist hired me to do some work for a company that he owned. And he looked at my whole system for dentists, and he says, Parthiv, there are other body parts. Where else can your dental system work outside dentistry? And then we looked at ophthalmology, audiology, hair restoration, dermatology, pain management. So I just went into any clinician that has a lifetime value of a patient of $6,000 or more. And the same process worked for non-clinicians, attorneys, real estate investors, financial advisors, and even who make 6,000 or more in LTV. I know what my CAC is. I know what my multiple is. As long as I can make the numbers work, the only thing bespoke in my life is design and copy. There is only, you know how there is only one QuickBooks for all America? It doesn't matter what business you're in. For business growth science, there is only one formula. It is this. You know, a CAC ought to be a fraction of your LTV. Can't control CAC. So aim at LTV that can afford this CAC.
Then you know who customers, what type of customer to go after to help you. That's brilliant. In the event you had the opportunity to sort of time travel and go back and talk and interview your 18-year-old self, knowing what you know now, what kind of advice would you give that 18-year-old?
If I remembered everything from 18 to 56, I would have a punch list of who not to talk to, and what not to do. Okay, but in reality, I got no regrets. I'm proud of what I have. Almost nothing has changed. I have led a principle-centric life and some core beliefs. America has more dollars than humans. Humans make you dollars. Dollars don't make you humans. So when you have a human in your life, take care of them. Money will catch up. Have a heart and show a heart. You can pretend to care, but you can't pretend to show up. So don't try to look good, just be good, because people will catch up to how good you are. Right? Be real, be authentic. And just have faith in the system. This is, inbound immigration into America is higher than 190 other countries combined. People come to America because of our culture, because of our legal system, because of our infrastructure, because of our see, our laws are built out of our culture. Americans with Disabilities Act came from a cultural standard that everyone deserves a chance. And if someone can't run at our speed, we'll slow down and let them catch up. American bankruptcy law came up saying if someone fails, you allow them to fail gracefully, exit gracefully, and restart their life without getting their house blown up or kids get abducted or whatever. You're in a good place here. Just in the end, it will work out. So if it's not working out, it's not the end. Just be grateful and happy that you're here. I had a stroke last year. I did for 4 minutes. My entire left part of my body was gone. 4 minutes. Longest 4 minutes of my life. I did not know if that is my normal. It took me about 14, 16 weeks to get back. And every day was a different milestone. I didn't know how slow I was going to be. It's like, I'm grateful to be here. And now that I'm here, I'll do something good with my life. So, yeah, I don't have a JOB, I have a JOY.
Awesome. So let's switch it on you. What's the next mountain? 5 years from now, what is it that you're going to be doing and what goal is it that you're going to accomplish?
Okay. Oh, your partner, the call, is Jason coming back or no?
It looked like his phone died.
That's fine. Okay. So he's going to miss out on the futuristic prediction. Okay.
That's right. But we're going to have you back on when you do it. So he'll have a second chance.
Yeah. So I went so last year was a turning point in my life, right? I went from having a business lifestyle to wanting a lifestyle business. So I now long for a 24/7 business lifestyle. I want to work 24 hours a week, 7 months a year. I launched Sell More Implants, which is dental growth machining, so I can exit from dental growth machine and come home to e-launcher. I would have a non-exit exit. I would still be able to work on other body parts and have my patent, have my internship, have my library, and I would still work until I die, but it would be 20, 25 hours a week. And me generating income wouldn't be a necessity for my crew and so on and so forth. So that's my dream. And look at that, Jason came back right after the dream was described. So we cannot call him the dream catcher.
Well, we're going to have you back on when that's accomplished. So 5 years from now, put it in the calendar. We'll have you right back here to celebrate.
You got it. I would like to come back before that to measure progress. But
I would love that.
sure,
We
bring
would
me
love
on
that.
I hope this was helpful. Do you think your audience will find value in what we talked about today? Was this a good initiative?
Of course. This was fantastic. In fact, there's been several things that I've thought of, even in our own lives and people, that I need to come listen to this particular one. So do you do any seminars or like web classes or anything like that?
So I have a non-trivial stage fright and camera shy. And if I have to speak in front of live audience where I have to persuade, pitch, or close, I don't do that. This with just a couple of people, we are working together. This is friendly This works out very well. If I'm doing a webinar in front of 25, 30, 40 people, I think it can go well, but I wouldn't be talking to the whole audience. I'll be just making eye contact with my host. So I would be a good addition to someone's show. I just cannot be, I don't think I have developed enough talent to be a solo actor in a seminar. So I cannot create a webinar and speak for 30 minutes and have people run to the back of the room like that. That's not me. I get ushered into the relationship. I'm not a pitchman. I don't do it.
Well, you know what? You have a very, how do we put this? You have a business that is very synergistic for what we do already.
Really?
Because yes, so a lot of our clients and things are not only investors, but they have this high lifetime value of a client. We put together syndications all over the country. I do loans from hard money to you name it. Jason does insurance specifically for high net worth individuals and specifically for investing. And so a lot of his clients are business owners.
Storing cash.
Storing cash and basically putting a generator in a river where the cash continues to flow in the exact way it's going. It just adds to it. So I would love to, and maybe we have to do this another time, but I'd love to explore the opportunity of maybe partnering up or creating a symbiosis or something along those lines where we can share some of those.
I would like that. You see, you give people loan, right? You put them in debt. I can take them out of debt.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Jason invests people's money. How do you invest someone's money? You take something liquid and make it illiquid for an extended period of time. I can make them re-liquid by by increasing the rainmaking. And
That's
if I can
exactly
do
what I was thinking.
Yeah. So it's like every American has credit card. Whose credit card we can take down? I mean, we can, what if rainmaking was one of your deliverables? And then your investors can invest with more. So when I work with real estate investors and debtors, what I tell them is, if you're going to invest 100,000 in Scott Syndicate, you need 17 new cases to replace that. So you're not, so you leave Scott alone. He will make you what he makes you, but I'll get you 17 new patients, so you got your 100,000 back. So if any listener who finds this conversation intriguing, interesting, and if they find me mildly attractive, go to www.meetparthiv.com, book a time, and we'll chat. When I'm not making money, I'm making friends. I need them both. So let's keep talking. Why do we have, I know the podcast is ending, but this talk doesn't have to end. Let's take it offline. We will have a Henderson without Henderson conversation offline. And that will be my last word.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for listening to Master Your Millions with Jason and Scott Henderson. Check the show notes for any links or contact information about today's guest. Make sure to follow the show so you don't miss any future episodes.